Mordred Pendragon was walking down Chaldea's hallway, minding her own business. As she was walking down, she ran in Blackbeard, carrying a bunch of doujinshis and video games. Geez, that pirate seriously needs to lay off with the doujinshis and video games, if anyone can get him to. Mordred thought as she accidentally bumped into him, making him drop all of the stuff he was carrying. Ah. The stuff I borrowed from Osakabeheim. Blackbeard thought as he saw the stuff fall over. Mordred. Hey. You bumped into me first. Mordred argued. You weren't even paying attention to where you were going. Blackbeard argued back. The two then glared at each other to make the other back down before both thought it was pointless arguing against each other any further. Anyways, can you help me pick all of this up? Blackbeard asked Mordred. Whatever. She said as she grabbed a few doujinshis that had dropped from the pile. As she was picking up the doujinshis that dropped from the pile Blackbeard was holding, she noticed a piece of paper on the ground. What is this, she thought. As she picked up the piece of paper, what she saw on the paper completely shocked her. It was a drawing of Emiya Shirou. Blackbeard noticed Mordred picking up the drawing of Emiya Shirou and nearly was in shock. Ah. Oh shit. Mordred picked up the one thing I did not want anyone to take a look at. Well, other than the collection of doujinshis, figurines, video games, and visual novels I picked up over the years, but still. Blackbeard. Mordred yelled out. What? Why do you have a picture of Mother? Were you the one who drew this? Well, I'm not the one who drew it. Then who? You see, I already made a promise not to tell. Huh? What do you mean by that? If there's someone else involved, then tell me. Or else I'll shove Clarence down your throat. Mordred said as she had Clarence ready and to shove it down his throat. Alright. Blackbeard said fearfully as he did not want to return to the throne of heroes. Sorry, Osakabeheim, but it seems like I can't keep your promise. Blackbeard thought as he brought out his smartphone and started texting to Osakabeheim. Meanwhile in Osakabeheim's room. Osakabeheim was at her kotatsu, working on a new drawing on her tablet. As she was working on her digital drawing, she had a new notification on her PC. She stopped for a moment and checked the notification. As she checked it, she noticed that she received a message from Blackbeard. Blackbeard? Is he finally done with the stuff I lent him a while ago? However, as she checked the contents of the message, she was terrified. Mordred sure saw the pic of Emiya Shirou, drawn by Aki. Sorry. Osakabeheim was terrified about this. In an instant, she sent a message back to Blackbeard. Who? Didn't you promise not to show it to anyone? Stu you Yupid Blackie. Is it okay if I tell her that you're the one who drew it? It's embarrassing, so definitely not. But if I don't tell her, she'll kill me. Then die and go back to the throne. That's me. You're not human. Duh. I'm a yokai. Just help me. Sorry, but you're on your own. Back to where Mordred and Blackbeard were. Great, now what am I going to do? Mordred's definitely going to kill me if I don't say anything. Blackbeard thought with a sigh. Well, who's the person that drew this picture of Mother? Now tell me or else I'll kill you with Clarence. Mordred yelled out. Blackbeard sighed again as he gave up for his life's safety. Follow me, he muttered. Blackbeard then went to Osakabeheim's room with Mordred following him. As they arrived at the front door of Osakabeheim's room, Blackbeard knocked on the door. Aki, it's me, Mordred's here as well. Blackbeard said dejectedly. No response came from the room. If you aren't responding, then I'm coming in. Mordred yelled. In an instant, the door opened, revealing Osaka behind wearing her hood down enough to cover her top part of her face. Hi Blackie and Mordred, please come in," she muttered. Mordred and Blackbeard then went into Osaka Beheim's room, which looked like a hardcore otaku's room. There were posters of anime characters hanging around, multiple video games, doujinshis, manga, and visual novels stacking in piles, a kotatsu in the middle of the room, and a desk with a PC and tablet in the corner of her room. Osaka Beheim, Mordred, and Blackbeard sat down at where the kotatsu was. "So, you're the one who drew this?" Mordred asked Osaka Beheim. Why yes, I'm sorry," Osaka Beheim said. "Why did you draw my mother?" "Well, it happened a few days ago. You see, I was going through a slump then, and I didn't have any inspiration to draw something. It was then, that one day, I came upon the servant known as Emiya Shirou in the training room, and bam. My inspiration came back." "I see." For a few seconds, there was silence between them as Mordred didn't say anything while both Blackbeard and Osaka Beheim were nervously waiting for Mordred's reaction. She is still scary, even when silent. Blackbeard and Osaka Beheim thought. "Hey, Osaka Beheim," Mordred suddenly said. "Why yes? This drawing of mother." Osaka Beheim gulped. What about it?" Mordred stuttered for a moment before saying, draw one for me too." Both Blackbeard and Osaka Beheim were surprised at Mordred's words. They said in unison. "Why, you heard me. Draw one for me too," Mordred said with a blush on her face. "But why?" Osaka Beheim asked. I just want a picture of mother in my room." "Is that hard to do?" "Well, no. But if so, then do it." Despite being surprised at Mordred's sudden request, Osaka Beheim smiled and she proceeded to grab her tablet and started doing a digital drawing of Emiya Shirou. As she was drawing, Mordred was impressed with the amount of detail put into it. "Wow. You're hella good at this." Thank you," Osaka Beheim replied. "Hey, can you draw a picture of the Lancer version of my father?" "Hey. That's not fair. She promised to draw Uriel for me next." Mordred. Blackbeard argued. "Will you two keep it down? Both of you are interrupting my work," Osaka Beheim yelled out, making Mordred and Blackbeard shut their mouths. After a few minutes of Osaka Beheim on the tablet and printing the digital drawing out, Osaka Beheim then handed the completed drawing to her. "Well?" she asked. Mordred took one look at the drawing and said, "It's amazing. I'll take it." Osaka Beheim sighed in relief as Mordred calmed down from the earlier rage she had earlier. "Thanks for the drawing," Mordred said as she got out of the room in a hurry, leaving Blackbeard and Osaka Beheim alone in her room. "Well, that was close," Blackbeard said. "Yeah, I thought she was going to kill me," Osaka Beheim muttered. "Me too, good thing it ended without any of us dying." "That's true. By the way, do you still all of that stuff I let you borrow from me?" Blackbeard's jaw nearly dropped in shock as he forgot to pick them up from his earlier encounter with Mordred. "Aw shit," he thought. Mordred was walking down Chaldea's hallway with a smile on her face, happy that she now has a picture of Emiya Shirou to keep in her room. And in good quality too. "Well then, where should I hang this picture of mother in my room?" she thought. However, in her process of thought, she accidentally bumped into a servant, making them fall. As she recovered from her fall, she now happened to know who the servant was she just bumped into. It was Arturia. Aw shit. Of all people to bump into it after getting a picture of mother, why did it have to be father? Great, this is not going to end well if she finds out about the picture of mother. I need to hide it somehow, Mordred thought. Mordred, are you okay? Arturia said as she got up. Huh? Why yeah, I'm fine, Mordred replied. It was then that Arturia noticed a piece of paper on the ground and picked it up. What's this? Arturia thought as she flipped the paper over. Oh no! The picture of Mother! Mordred thought in horror. As Arturia turned the paper over, Arturia was in awe of what she saw. The picture of Emiya Shirou that Osekabeheim drew for Mordred was a front view of Emiya Shirou projecting a katana with one hand while the other hand was holding his kimono, showing the inside of it. The inside of the kimono was blue with designs of flowers, and the katana was in a light blue, showing it being projected. The background itself was a blackish background with sparks of red floating around him. All in all, it was a high-quality drawing. Ah shit. Now she knows. Mordred? Mordred gulped. What is it, father? What is this? It's a drawing of Mother? I can see that. Who drew this? Osekabeheim. For a moment, everything was silent between the two. Oh crap, father must be mad. Mordred thought as Arturia didn't say anything. I see. She said. Then in a moment, she gave the picture back to Mordred and started walking away, surprising Mordred. I is father actually, no way, would she, nah. Mordred thought. However, her thought was completely wrong. Because within a few minutes, Arturia arrived at the front door of Osekabeheim's and knocked on the door. Who's there? Osekabeheim asked. Arturia Pendragon. And Mordred's mother, or rather father she calls it? Yes. I have a request for you. Osekabeheim opened the door slowly. What is it? Arturia took a deep breath before saying, that picture of Shirou you drew earlier. Why yeah. What about it? Arturia took another deep breath before saying her request. Make one for me too. Both Osekabeheim and Blackbeard, who just happened to be in the room, were surprised from Arturia's request and said, ehhhhhhh. Shirou Emiya was having a weird week. Well, at this point, a weird week would be considered normal to Shirou. But this week was especially weird. Because any time he would interact with any of the Arturias, Rins, Sakuras, Ilias, Miyu, Astria, Miros, and Jean and her alter, they would look at him with a blush and immediately run away. And it wasn't only them. Lately, every time Shirou passes by Merlin, he would give him a sly grin. Like he was congratulating him for something. Honestly, he has absolutely no clue what was going on. Seriously, what is up with everyone today? It's like they're giving me a weird look for something that I didn't do. Especially Merlin, he's seriously creeping me out. Shirou thought as he was walking down Chaldea's hallway. It was at that point that he noticed a piece of paper lying down on the floor. As he picked it up, he was shocked at what it was. It was a drawing of himself. What the heck? Why is there a drawing of me here? In fact, why did someone draw me to begin with? Shirou thought as he examined the drawing. As he examined the drawing, he noticed a tiny signature on the bottom of the image. And the signature had her name on it. Shirou sighed as he now knew what was going on lately. Well, time to pay a visit to Osekabeheim. After asking a few servants where Osekabeheim's room is, Shirou finally arrived at his location. Well, here goes nothing. Shirou thought to himself. He then knocked on the door. Excuse me, but is Osekabeheim here? For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then a voice came from the room. Who is it? Emiya Shirou. At that moment, sounds of items falling on each other were heard along with someone moving around. Emiya Shirou? Osekabeheim said with stutter in her voice. Just give me a moment. After a few minutes of silence, the door to Osekabeheim's room opened. Please come in. she muttered. Shirou then went into Osaka Behime's room and was surprised at how much stuff he has in her room. Wow, she must be a collector. What brings you here, Emiya Shirou? Well, it's about this. Shirou said as he showed her the drawing of himself. Osaka Behime sighed. I knew this day would come. Shirou sighed back. Why did you draw a picture of me? Well, it started out when I happened to see you in the training room a few days earlier. I didn't have any inspiration and was in a complete slump. Then I happened to saw you, and bam. I suddenly have inspiration again. I see. And the fan art? Well, originally, it started out as a personal thing. But when Blackbeard came along, he also wanted one and I drew him another one. However, when Mordred came along and found out about it, she also wanted one as well. Then Arturia found out about it and wanted one as well. And then, it escalated to the point where her alternate counterparts found out and wanted some as well, which then attracted other people. Why yeah. Is that why Arturia and her counterparts, Rin and her counterparts, Sakura and her counterparts, Ilia and her counterparts, Miyu, Luvia, Nero and her counterparts, Jean Dark and her alter, and Merlin were looking at me funny lately? Why yes. Shirou was shocked at the news he just received. Wow, can't believe all of this happened. Yes. In fact, it has even gone even further to the point where Merlin would request for fan art and doujinshis of you and any version of Arturia having . Okay. I get the situation now. Just don't say anything else anymore. Shirou interrupted with a blush on his face. After a few seconds of calming down for each other from the statement she was about to say, Osaka Behind said, So, are you mad? About the fan art of me? Why yes. Well, I'm not mad about it. However, next time when you're drawing someone, make sure to ask the person's permission. Okay? Okay. Shirou smiled. Good. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to get going, so see you Osaka Behind. Shirou then left the room, leaving Osaka Behind alone in her room. Emiya Shirou, he seems to be a nice guy. Osaka Behind thought with a smile as she was glad that she didn't get in trouble. However, another thought came to her. I forgot to ask him for his autograph. Make. Shirou was walking down Chaldea's hallway, minding his own business. It was then that he found a piece of paper lying down on the ground. Shirou sighed. Did Osaka Behind forgot to pick up one of her drawings again? Well, guess I'll pick it up and return it to her. He thought as he walked over to the piece of paper. However, as he picked up the fan art, he noticed something. The art style was different. And what's more, the fan art itself was himself and Jean Dark altered together. And the signature on the bottom had her name on it. That signature, don't tell me. It was then that Jean Dark Alter came in, huffing for breath with a blush on her face as she saw Shirou holding the artwork she did. Jean Dark Alter, by any chance, is this ? In an instant, Jean Dark Alter came up to him, snatched the fan art from him, and said, Don't say a word about this, got it, in a menacingly tone. Why yeah.